We are learning about economics, and this week we'll be diving deeper into buying and selling. So let's get into our words that we need to know this week. First, we have a producer. A producer is a person or a company that makes or sells a good or service, a seller or a maker. A consumer is a person who buys a good or service, a buyer. A good are items that people want or need that can be bought or sold. A service is work that is done for someone in exchange for money or payment. A durable good is a strong item, one that lasts. It's any item that is meant to last more than 3 years when it is used as intended. A non-durable good is an item that lasts less than 3 years when it is used as it was intended on a regular basis. Supply is how much of a good is available for buyers to buy. It's the amount that there is. Demand is the desire or want for a product. Scarcity is a shortage. It's when there's not enough. When the demand for the product is greater than the supply. Low supply means scarcity. Surplus, when there is extra of something, an abundance or excess. When the supply of something is greater than the demand. Let's talk about consumers and producers. So this is a producer. It's a person that is either making or selling. She's selling things. This is a consumer. This is a person who is buying, a buyer. This is just a creepy looking baby. And its arms look like it's inside of its diaper. It's very strange to me. So our economy is made up of buyers and sellers. Buyers are known as consumers. Sellers are known as producers. Buyers and sellers do business in what's called a market. We've heard of a market before, like the supermarket or the stock market. And so when we buy and sell things, we're doing that in an economic market, anywhere where things are bought and sold. Sellers or producers make decisions about what to sell, based on what buyers and consumers want or they need. Buyers and sellers have an important relationship in our economy. So if buyers aren't going to buy it, then sellers aren't going to sell it. Goods and services. Goods are items that people want or need that can be bought or sold. There are two types of goods. There are durable goods, goods that last a long time, and non-durable goods, goods that are used to be used up when they're used as they're intended. So durable goods last more than 3 years when the object is used as it's intended. Non-durable goods last less than 3 years when they are used as they were intended. Services describe work that is done in exchange for payment. So some examples of a good are food, televisions, cars, clothes, video games. Examples of services would be hairdresser, mechanic, dentist, doctor, or teacher. Supply and demand. Supply refers to how much of a good is available for buyers to buy. And demand has to do with the desire or want for a product. There are several videos in these learning slides this week that you should take the opportunity to watch to learn more about supply and demand. In class, we will be looking at a clip from the movie Frozen to talk about supply and demand and what other economic concepts are happening during that clip. The relationship between supply and demand is simple. If consumers or customers need and want things, producers and businesses are going to make those things. If people want or need it, then somebody will sell it. If nobody wants it or needs it, then nobody is going to sell it. Here's an example. You can't go to the store right now and buy a pair of glass pants. Glass pants are so wrong on so many levels. But the bottom line is you can't find them in a store because no one wants them. So if customers don't want to buy pants made out of glass, because let's face it, they're wrong for so many reasons, then sellers are not going to sell glass pants. Factories are not going to make glass pants. There is no demand for glass pants. Therefore, there's not going to be a supply of glass pants. Okay? So businesses need to be aware of what customers want. They need to know the demand or the desire of the customers. Then they can create a supply to meet that demand. If there is no demand for something, then businesses need to react to that, or they will go out of business. A store that sells glass pants is not going to stay in business for long. Let's take a look at this cartoon. What does it show? It shows a little girl who had a lemonade stand. For 25 cents, she was selling lemonade. And that is crossed off, and it says, train you on your smartphone, $25. And she has a line that's very long of adults wanting to pay her the $25. So what does this mean when it comes to economics? What does it mean? It means that she was not being very successful selling her lemonade at 25 cents a glass because she decided to change her service or her product. She decided to open a business where she would train adults to use their smartphone. Why? Because clearly the demand is very high for that service. There's a lot of people in line waiting for that service. So what does that mean about her price? It means if the demand is high, she can sell her service for more money. And if people are willing to pay $25 to learn how to use their smartphone, she's going to stay in business. She's also going to make a lot of money. So when it comes to demand, the higher the demand, the higher the price can be. The lower the demand, the less price is going to happen for that item or that service, and the business may make a decision to stop selling that altogether. If there is a high demand for a product but a low supply of it, then the seller can increase the price. Here's an example. If a new video game system is being released, people will oftentimes line up during the night and even camp out and wait for the store to open. Why? Because their demand for that object or that thing that's going to be sold is exceptionally high. And they know if the demand is high and everybody wants it, there may be a shortage of the supply. Everyone wants a chance to buy one. So the demand for the game is high, but the supply is low. The store can actually sell the game for more than it's worth. In order to get one, a person either has to stand in line for the store opening or pay a premium price online to get one. So for instance, when a new video game comes out, in this case, sometimes when you see a game come out at a store, they will have buyers waiting in line to buy that game and then sell it online for twice or 3 times the cost. That's because the demand for the game is very high, the supply is low, therefore they can charge much more for the game and people will be willing to pay that money. On the other hand, if there's a high supply and a low demand, that changes everything. So let's say there's a high supply of something and a low demand. The business will need to reduce the price of the item. So let's take a look at an example. Let's say the owner of Walsh buys 100 pair of pepperoni pants because she thinks they're going to be super popular. But the problem is they don't sell. Nobody wants them. The demand for the pants is low. So what's the problem? She has a surplus of pepperoni pants. This means that she has too many. So what is she going to do? She can't get stuck with all of these pepperoni pants, so she will put them on sale or she'll run a commercial for them. This might help increase the demand for the pepperoni pants. If the price is right, Walmart might sell some pants. If not, then the owner of Walmart will be wearing a lot of pepperoni pants. This is the case the supply was high and the demand was low. People were not willing to pay a high price for something they didn't want to buy. So as you can see, supply and demand are related. If people really want a product, then the cost can be higher. If nobody wants the product, then the cost will be lowered to increase the demand for that product. So for review, you need to know that the economic market is made up of producers and consumers. Consumers are buyers and producers are makers or sellers. Goods are items that are sold that people want or need. They're items. Services is work that is done for someone in exchange for payment. The market is a balance between supply and demand. So supply is how much of something is available, and demand is how much people want it. If there is a shortage or scarcity of an item, then it may cost more. If there is a surplus or excess of an item, it may cost less. There are a number of videos to watch if you do not understand these concepts, so please take time to pause the video and check out the videos. Of course, there are also torture videos about economics. When you are studying for your quiz, make sure you can answer these questions. What's a good? What's a service? Using a picture, can you identify goods and services? What's the definition of a durable good? How about a non-durable good? Using a picture, can you find two durable goods? Using pictures, can you find two non-durable goods? What's another term for consumer? How about producer? What's the definition of supply and demand? What is scarcity? What's a surplus? If a business has a surplus of a product, what can they do to increase the demand? If there is a high demand for a product, what might the price of that product be, high or low? And if a product is scarce or there's not enough of it, how will that affect the price of the item? Make sure that you rewatch this video if you do not understand the concepts, and good luck for the quiz.